Hello. I think I'm live. Yep. That wasn't. Awesome. Back again. This is stream number 4 of the week, covering the latest in gaming, is what I'm calling my series. Although that name is definitely subject to change at some point. Um, so yeah, if you're new to this, if you're watching this later, I've been I started this new series where I'm going to stream myself talking about some of the latest gaming news, and then I'm going to and then I kind of cut that down, make some clips out of it, maybe, or into a shorter video. So yeah, I don't have a ton of time today. Ooh, I'm gonna hit record. Um, yeah, I don't have a ton of time today, so let me just dive into the first and main topic of the day. Um, Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders are a disaster. Sorry, I had to I have to make that part clippable. So let's just jump right into it, as Philly D would say. Okay, so this first article that I'm going to read is from Rebecca Valentine at IGN. What I've kind of decided for this one, since I kind of have my own story trying to pre-order it, I'm going to read through this article, then kind of talk about my own story, then read through some more articles. So, Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders went live and were predictably a mess. This just in, yeesh. As I begin writing this piece, I'm sitting at my desk at 11:30 p.m. CT, well past my bedtime on a work night, trying, along with seemingly the entire rest of the world and the population of several other planets, to try and pre-order a Nintendo Switch 2. And this picture here. Pre-orders went live at 9 p.m. PT/12 a.m. ET at 3 different retailers, Walmart, Best Buy, and Target, or at least they were supposed to, but the actual rollout so far has been a hot mess. Myself and a big chunk of the IGN staff have all been trying to order our Switch 2s. Excuse me. Have all been trying to order our Switch 2s and meeting wildly varying levels of success, and folks on social media are reporting a whole host of problems as well, resulting in frustration, dejection, and rarely triumph. Yeah, I was. I'll talk about my story more later. Over at Walmart, Nintendo Switch 2 would-be buyers were dumped almost immediately into a digital queue to buy their systems, and while it did move forward for some and ultimately end with a Switch in the cart, others are still waiting on a stay-in-line screen with no indication of how long the wait is or whether or not it will be successful. When they finally do get through to a purchase, some folks are reporting baffling errors or whatever is going on here. Yes, I am very familiar with this fucking robot or human screen. It's also what I stole to do the thumbnail for this stream. Target didn't have a queue like Walmart, so at first it seemed like Switch 2 fans saw more success over there, but reports rapidly began mounting that buyers were running into error screens throughout the purchase process, and while some people thought they purchased a Switch 2 successfully and even reached a confirmation screen, they later reported seeing a cancellation email roll through their inboxes moments later, forcing them to start the whole process over. Others are reporting that the Switch 2 is actively being removed from their shopping cart midway through process, forcing them to start over. The Nintendo Switch 2 sold out instantly at Target. This is unreal, bro. I refreshed on the second it turned 12 a.m. Actually unreal. Then there's Best Buy, whose pre-orders didn't even go live on time. This website read coming soon for half an hour before finally beginning to pop folks into a digital queue slowly but surely. With purchase confirmations only just now beginning to come through, while others deal with some of the aforementioned errors and restarts, and at all 3 stores, some have said they're dealing with fraud alerts from their banks or other weird financial blips that are gumming up the works and forcing them to start all over, ultimately denying them a chance at a system entirely. I might skip through this a little bit. I'll read this part too. In the amount of time it took me to write this piece, Target and Walmart appear to have officially sold out, and while more and more folks are managing to get through at Best Buy, others like myself have been stuck in some interminable queue for over an hour. Others have gotten emails saying their purchases have been canceled or delays with no delivery date or ability to reorder. It's likely in the coming minutes and hours we'll start to see more and more successes, and there's always an opportunity to pre-order at GameStop tomorrow. Well, today at 11. Okay. If you're not a huge Nintendo fan or willing to wait to purchase the system, it's easy to scoff at the chaos, but it's especially frustrating for Nintendo fans coming off a reveal and rollout that's already been confusing and exasperating at almost every turn. Very true. Very true. Exciting as the initial reveal of the Nintendo Switch 2 was, the price of both the system and all the requisite accessories and games left many reeling before Nintendo paused pre-orders due to tariff implementation in the US, only to fire them up again without changing the price of the system itself, just the accessories. On top of that, Nintendo plans for physical and digital software pricing, formats, and content have been wildly confusing. Yeah, to say the least. Okay. So, yeah, no, Switch 2 pre-orders have been a disaster. And this is just, I guess, one example, going over some of the different stories that people have had. I myself had a very fucking exacerbating, I myself had a very awful experience trying to pre-order the Switch 2. So for me, my time zone in Canada, it was going live at 1 a.m. For Walmart. So I had my post notifications ready on for Twitter. I was like so ready to go, and then out of nowhere, it's like, ooh, they're up at Costco. So I'm like, what the hell? And then I went in, tried to get it through Costco. I was actually live on stream while this happened. I had to BRB my stream for a few minutes there. And I went through, and then I realized I don't have a Costco account. And so I didn't get one there, but I could have if I had a Costco account. They were up there for a while. And then I waited until 1 a.m. because I knew they were going up at Walmart. And oh my God, the fucking chaos. Just like I was refreshing the page. I keep hearing about this queue on my browser, like just wasn't showing up. Like it was just going to a screen that showed that they were sold out, which was already the screen before the pre-orders went up. So I even went, I would have these people I follow on Twitter, they would post links, so I would click on those links, and sometimes it would take me to a page that said that they weren't sold out for like some of the things. They were usually always sold out for the consoles. But then so probably like 1:09, 1:10 in the morning, 10 minutes late, Walmart Canada Gaming, who I also had post notifications on, posted that they were available, even though they already were available, because the post that I was clicking on, some people were getting them, but I wasn't. And I clicked on that link, and it took me to the page, and I was able to put the Mario Kart World bundle in my cart. Just a second. Yeah, I was able to put the Mario Kart World bundle in my cart. I got through. I had already gone in beforehand and like updated all my info, all my payment information was there, like ready to go. Put it in my cart, got like most of the way through, and then out of nowhere, boom, it's gone. Not available anymore, actually. So that was freaking awesome. I loved that happened. Yeah. And then I spent the next hour probably. Yeah, I probably didn't go to bed till like 2:30. Probably spent the next hour like refreshing stuff. I did get it in my cart like one other time, but the exact same thing happened. However, it wasn't a huge deal because my original plan was I wanted to get it through at the store, at an actual location, because I ordered my PS5 online for launch, and it didn't end up coming until like the next Monday, which is like no big deal. I mean, it's like 3 or 4 days late, but as an avid Nintendo guy, that first weekend is, oh my God, I would be so jealous of everybody if I didn't have it that first weekend, because I'm such a little baby boy. Um, so I wanted to get it. I knew GameStop opened early, so I was gonna get it through GameStop anyway. I was just gonna pre-order online just in case I wasn't able to get it through GameStop, and then maybe I would have two pre-orders. And I would see if a friend wanted it. I was not gonna, absolutely not going to scalp it because fuck scalpers. More on scalpers later, actually. So I did that. Yeah, so I got up, didn't get to bed till like 3 a.m. because I was trying to get a pre-order. Didn't get one. Woke up at 7, so solid 4 hours of sleep. Not too bad though. Got ready, headed right into town. I think I was at the GameStop for 8:20 or so, and so I talked to the guy on the phone the day before, and he said the store opens at 9:30, but around 9 o'clock they were going to go around to the people that were waiting and start handing out tickets for like the bundles and the consoles, so that you would be locked in to buy it ahead of time, and it just makes it a little easier. So I get there at 8:20. I pull up, and there's probably about 20 people ahead of me, but I wasn't too worried because on the phone, the guy last the day before, he told me that there was like 140 or so. Oops, sorry, it's like backwards on my. There's like 140 or so bundles and like 15 or so regular, and I'm going for the bundle, so I wasn't too worried. So there was 20 people ahead of me. I got in. It was a really long time to wait. I guess when I finally got in, I got the ticket, and I asked the guy like, "What's going on? Like, are you guys gonna give everybody in line a ticket? That the line that keeps growing, by the way, everybody in line a ticket, and then start from the beginning again?" I guess their system was so overloaded with Switch 2 stuff that they completely let me just switch over to here for a bit. The system was so overloaded with Switch 2 stuff that it completely shut the fuck down. So, well, they were started handing out the tickets at 9, and the store was supposed to open at 9:30. It was right around 10. Actually, it was a little after 10 whenever they finally started taking orders in the store. So yeah, and that opened, and then I got in the store. I was waiting in line, and then it was probably another half hour, 45 minutes, but at least I was inside the warm store. It wasn't, cold. And yeah, I got my Switch 2 pre-order, and they're gonna call me a day or two before, and I would say I'm pretty guaranteed, not guaranteed. I'm pretty likely to be getting it on day one, which is very exciting because I also did that for the Switch one, and big Nintendo guy. So, anyways, let's move on to let's talk a little bit about some. I found a Reddit thread here because we all love Reddit. Just talking about the official I got / didn't get a Switch 2 mega thread. So I thought I would just kind of read through a little bit here. I got one around 2 p.m. at GameStop in Northeast Philly. They just said they had a limited amount remaining when I called, but they were processing several when I arrived. They had the bundle plus standalone available, along with several other games and accessories. I also sprung for a Pro Controller since the one for OG Switch was great. Got mine at TLDR. I got one this morning through GameStop's online pre-order, though not without its share of difficulties. Yeah, I'm not going to read that, but I either feel bad for you or congratulations. Got mine, spent 3 hours in line before my local GameStop opened, and was able to get the bundle. I'm done caring about these kinds of events. I'll get it when I get it. When it has more games, the initial hype load isn't worth it anymore. Too much time wasted chasing. That's fair. I definitely understand where you're coming from there. Like, it's an exhausting hobby that is not very rewarding a lot of the time. So, no, I understand kind of giving up on the chase, especially if you don't have the money to afford it, which I don't really, but I'm doing it anyway. Got mine from GameStop in person. Second to last console too. Feels great, and good luck to everybody else too. Thanks, Zach, not Kyle. Secured mine from Best Buy Canada around noon. Didn't get my email confirmation, but I spoke to BB customer support and they confirmed it was successful. Just in case anyone else is worried about their status. Okay, nice. Got the MK bundle and SD card and the Piranha Plant camera from Best Buy. Took super long, and the console, then the accessories queues were really short. Had it in my cart at Target, but it kept giving me an error. Spammed the checkout button until it told me they sold out. Walmart or sold out. Not confident about this Best Buy line. Might try GameStop in the morning. Probably just gonna wait to see if we get a Nintendo Link. Remember when you could just go to the midnight release and only have to compete with the people in your town? Not every scalper in America and their bots. No, yeah, I relate to this heavy. Fuck the scalpers. They ruin everything. More on them later. But that is the one benefit of just buying. Well, there's actually a lot of benefits for buying a physical. Another one is not having to worry about it showing up late. You're guaranteed to get it. And I don't know if my store's going to do like a midnight launch, but I'm going to get it, when they open at 9:30 the next day, which is fine with me. Instead of me just like literally like staring at the window all day, just looking to see if anybody swings into the driveway to bring me my Switch. Here's another one here. I've been in line for 45 minutes now on Best Buy. Here's hoping. Update, ladies and gentlemen, I got one as of 1:31 a.m. EDT. Way to go, Sir Schmoopy. Yeah, okay, I just wanted to read a couple of those, see if there was some interesting tales, some decent stuff there. Another story here. I didn't read this one through, so hopefully it's interesting. Poll. So did you manage to get a Switch 2 pre-order in North America? A pre-orderly fashion. This is from Gavin Lane at Nintendo Life. Well, Switch 2 pre-orders are finally live across North America, and we're interested in getting a sense of how it's been for Nintendo fans on the ground in the US and Canada. Following a 15-day delay from the planned date, Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders went live at retailers across North America at 9 a.m. ET. Europeans have been busy pre-ordering the system for weeks, but the potential impact of tariffs and evolving market condition caused Nintendo to postpone retailer pre-orders and assess the situation. Okay, I understand all this. Enough with the recap. From the personal experience of our NA-based staff, it's been a frustrating, hours-long guessing game with flaky websites, seemingly stalled queue systems, and suddenly empty carts. Anecdotally, we've seen similar issues mentioned on social media, but we're keen to get a wider sense of things and how big the retailer sites held up for you. Let us know below if you managed to snag a pre-order. Is the GameStop page even loading for you yet? Or if you've got your fingers crossed for an invite from Nintendo, and head in the comments, discuss which sites threw up the most issues for you. Yep, and I will vote. Oh, nice. Okay, so that's from Nintendo Life's website, so that's going to be very heavily Nintendo fan base skewed. So it seems like the people that really want one mostly are getting them. Let's throw that GameStop in there. Okay, so Walmart and Best Buy seem to be the big ones. Amazon sucks. I got the Kazawaza bundle. Okay, so these are some interesting stats here. So obviously these are very, these aren't official. This is just from a Nintendo fan website. But no, it's really interesting to see that of 2,000 people that voted, that read through this article, 62% were able to snag a Switch. Awesome. I feel like for the Switch 1, it probably wasn't quite as easy, to be honest. I know people, like so many people are online, like having troubles. But it's also just because Switch 2 is going to be way more popular at launch than Switch 1 because it's got a guaranteed like success rate, basically. It's weird that Amazon has such a low percentage though. Like why are they flubbing it so bad? The big name retailers are doing a lot better. With Walmart, Best Buy specifically. And obviously more people are getting the Mario Kart bundle. I'm actually surprised 24% is getting just the system. like, I don't know. What else are you going to play at launch? I guess you can play GameCube Wind Waker and a couple other things. Cyberpunk, I guess. But I feel like most people getting it at launch are like the hardcores that want Mario Kart. Okay, let's move on to the next part. This is kind of also related to pre-orders, but oh yeah. So I seen this. I haven't read through it yet because I was been in a bit of a rush today. Sorry, but I thought it was interesting, so I'm gonna read through some of it, and I might just skip it if it sucks. So this is by Luke Damman. Luke Damon at GameRant. Analyst predicts how many Switch 2 units Nintendo will have for launch day. Analysts predicts Nintendo could have up to 8 million Nintendo Switch 2 units ready on launch day. While pre-orders are already live for the Switch 2, many gamers may be waiting for the handheld console's official release this summer before taking the plunge. As a result, Nintendo will likely produce as many consoles as it can before this release date, with some industry experts sharing how many Nintendo Switch 2 units they estimate will be available on launch day. Few consoles have managed to stir up as much hype and excitement as the Nintendo Switch 2. A console that has seemed inevitable since the release of Nintendo's original hybrid system back in 2017. Equipped with improved internals, a better screen, and redesigned Joy-Cons, the Switch 2 has a lot to offer, both veteran users and newcomers alike. Switch 2 is likely to dominate the market when it drops this summer, with analysts now weighing in on how many units Nintendo will actually have ready on launch day. According to Bloomberg via Central Leaks, analysts predict Nintendo will have between 6 and 8 million Switch 2 units ready on launch day. While unconfirmed, this seems like an accurate number considering how anticipated the new system is. This isn't to say launch day will be a cakewalk with past Nintendo consoles like the original Switch and the Nintendo Wii, not the Wii U. With past Nintendo consoles like the original Switch and the Nintendo Wii U proving difficult to scoop up even weeks after the initial release, but not the Wii U for some reason. The hype has been building for the new console for months, with the Switch 2 reportedly struggling to keep up with demand in some markets. Interesting. This is the same thing. Okay. What I want to know is how many Switch 1s did they have at launch? How many Switch 1s were at launch? The Switch sold around 2.74 million units in its first month, making it Nintendo's fastest selling home console and exceeding initial projections. Wow, that's crazy. So analysts predict that the Switch 2 is going to have up to 8 million units on launch day, and yet in 2017, in March of 2017, the launch of the original Switch, it only sold 2.74 million, and people were still struggling to get it. That is crazy. What a jump. That's like almost 4 times as much. That's like 3.5 times as much. Wow. No, that's sorry. That's crazy. It makes sense that, like, Nintendo has garnered so much, I wouldn't say goodwill. Nintendo has received a lot of money and a ton of people have bought the Switch 1. Switch 2 is such like a slam dunk guarantee hit. It's got a huge game at launch. Mario Kart was the best-selling game on the Switch 1, so next Mario Kart, obviously, gonna be a huge seller on the Switch 2. Probably, I would say lifetime. I'm gonna predicting it now, before the launch. The Switch 2's lifetime highest-selling game will probably be Mario Kart World. Calling it now. I know, what a bold prediction. But yeah, let's move on. That's cool though. Nintendo issues warning about release date delivery for Switch 2. This is one thing, yeah, I'm worried about. So Nintendo is starting to say, even though they're giving away more pre-orders than they can follow through with, it seems like, and not everybody that pre-orders it is going to get it on launch, and that is so disappointing. So this comes from J. Brody Shiri at Game Rant. Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders have begun, but Nintendo says that some who managed to get a new console might have to get their delivery delayed. The latest Nintendo console won't be released until June 5th, but certain retailers like Walmart, Best Buy, and GameStop are letting customers order the Nintendo Switch on their website ahead of time. Yeah, no shit. These pre-orders were previously delayed in the United States and Canada due to the tariffs put in place by the Trump administration and Nintendo needing to calculate what effect they would have on the cost and logistics of producing the console for those countries. Many were expecting the pre-order launch of the highly anticipated Nintendo Switch 2 console to be chaotic, but securing the new system has been a challenge even for those who stayed up until midnight for the first round of pre-orders at Walmart, Target, and Best Buy. GameStop started its first round of Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders at 11 a.m. Nintendo itself has also invited a select group of customers to pre-order the Switch 2 on the My Nintendo store, though these invitations prioritize Nintendo Switch Online members in an attempt to avoid scalpers. Earlier today, Nintendo posted a warning to these members that their Nintendo Switch 2 consoles might arrive later than expected due to the overwhelmingly high demand for the system. So I guess this was an email sent out to the people that they invited, or just to anybody that was signed up for that, because I never received this email, and I was signed up for it, but I didn't get the chance to pre-order it through them. Like, they didn't send me the initial email. So it says the invitation emails might arrive sometime after the Switch 2 launches on June 5th, and that the estimated shipping date will be confirmed after purchase. RIP. Nintendo Switch 2 console shipments might be delayed. Nintendo also stated that the customers might have a better shot at securing a Switch 2 from one of the third-party retailers. Oh my god, Nintendo. Just throw... What a Nintendo thing to do. Just order from somebody else, please. Offering pre-orders, though, the Switch 2 is currently sold out across all outlets. It isn't yet clear when the next round of Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders will be made available, so gamers will have to keep their ears to the ground for a future announcement by Walmart, Target, Best Buy, or GameStop. Earlier this week, Nintendo reported issues with meeting Switch 2 pre-order demands in Japan, which I talked about the other day, which seems to have been an omen for how quickly the console would sell out everywhere else. Both the Standard Edition Switch 2 and Mario Kart World bundles have been selling at a historical level already, and demand for the new console will undoubtedly continue to grow as the Nintendo Switch 2's June 5th release date draws closer. Yeah, so in a way, it is kind of hard to blame Nintendo specifically. They obviously knew the Switch 2 was going to do a lot better than the Switch 1, but they obviously knew the Switch 2 was going to do a lot better than the Switch 1, but how could they have predicted that it would be like the highest selling console of all time? You know what I mean? Like, you can't just hedge your bets on that. They knew it was going to be great, like sell great, but, I feel like putting your eggs in that basket of, accidentally making too many, and then especially with all of the outrage around the Switch 2, everybody boycotting the Switch 2, which is like, wow, I mean, that definitely had a huge effect. But no, I don't blame people that are boycotting the Switch. But, wow, no, this is just kind of crazy to hear, to be honest. Oh shit, it's been half an hour. I have to hurry up. Nintendo Switch 2 fans are trying to deter scalpers on eBay. This is hilarious. I'll just talk about this quickly. This comes from Tyler Shipley at Game Rant. Nintendo Switch 2 fans have started posting fake listings for the console on eBay in an attempt to stop scalpers. The pre-orders for the Nintendo Switch 2 recently went live on April 24th at midnight Eastern. Many scalpers have tried to take advantage of the chaos. So basically what they're doing is, scalpers being scalpers, posting them for like $2,000. And then a bunch of Nintendo fans are just flooding eBay with fake. It's just like a screenshot of the thing. And on the listing, it says like, don't buy this. But it explains what they're doing on the listing. It's just flooding the market so that people that are trying to find the actual eBay listings won't know which ones are real, which ones are fake. People won't be able to find them. And yeah, good on them, because fuck scalpers. Next thing. Oh yes, so some game file sizes were revealed for the Switch 2, and it is quite concerning. This comes from Valentina Kraljic at, what website is this? Game Horizon. The Nintendo Switch 2 is on the way, and as a next generation console, it will offer better graphics, bigger games, but that also means these games will take up more space on the system. We now have new details on how large some of these games might be, and some of them are pretty big, thanks to a report shared by Necro Felipe of Universo Nintendo. Via Go Nintendo, we've gotten a look at estimated file sizes for several third-party games expected to launch on the Switch 2. Here's how much space some of these games might need. Fortnite will be 29.5 gigs, Cyberpunk 56.8, Hitman 61, Split Fiction 71, Street Fighter 6 48. Why is Split Fiction 71 gigabytes? Like, that game isn't the most graphically impressive. I don't think it's a huge game. You know, it's not open world. They definitely could have made that game smaller. I'm not a developer, but like, if I think Mario Kart is like 23 or something like that. If Cyberpunk can be 56, there's no goddamn reason why Split Fiction should be 71. Especially, I think it's Switch 2 is launching with like 250 gigs of memory, I think, or storage, something like that. So, you know, you buy Split Fiction there, that's already like, what percentage is that? Like 1/5, a little more than 1/5 of your space just on one game. Although, it's like the same on PlayStation. I mean, I have like 5 or 6 games downloaded on my PlayStation, so it's stupid. Fortnite, that makes sense. There's so much stuff on Fortnite for it to be 29 gigs, but Split Fiction being 71 is just stupid. Next thing I wanted to talk on, I gotta finish this up soon. Every physical third-party Switch 2 game seen in Japan so far is a game keycard requiring a download. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. So one thing a lot of people have been worried about with the Switch 2 is these game keycard things where you go and buy the physical box and it ends up just being like a card that you get inside instead of an actual game cartridge that you put in your system. And I think Nintendo did like come out recently and be like, oh no, that's not going to be for all of the games, just some of them. But now we're seeing that it's a lot more than expected. Every single physical third-party game in Japan so far, Sonic, it's quite upsetting, because then also that's going to take up a lot more space too, right? Because if it's just a code and then you have to download the full game onto your system, there's nothing going into there's nothing being saved on the cartridge. That's all on the system. It's a lot of storage. So let's read this through quick. This is Chris Scullion at VGC. Pre-orders for Switch 2 software have gone live in Japan, and players have realized that every third-party release seen so far is a game keycard. Game keycards are Nintendo's new branding for cartridges that still require the game to be downloaded for the Switch 2 online store before the game can be played. The cartridge doesn't contain game data. Rather, it's simply a key that enables a download. Game keycards are different from regular game cards because they don't contain the full game data, Nintendo says. Instead, the game keycard is your key to downloading the full game to your system via the internet. After it's downloaded, you can play the game by inserting the game keycard into your system and starting it up like a physical game card. As originally pointed out on X, Gamatsu, the physical version of every third-party Switch 2 title currently up for pre-order became... Okay, so I did get something wrong a little bit. It's not like a slip, like... with a code that you download. It is a card, but they don't contain the full game data yet. So does it still, the game key card is it's just a key. So it doesn't seem like it has any thing on it. So yeah, no, that's all that space that's going to the console, and it's just disappointing. Is that getting picked up? I got one more thing I want to talk about quickly. and then I will have to jump off. Actually, for first party games, no, I think I do have to jump off.